music, new biomes, massive game engine improvements, and even our first sneak peek at brand new Hytale gameplay. I'm TheLividLion, and today we are covering all this and more from not one, not two, not even three, but 4 brand new Hytale blog posts. This is going to be a super detailed update and analysis of what has been revealed so far, so as always, sit back and let's jump right into it. I want to start off by saying happy Thanksgiving to everyone in this amazing Hytale community. Boy, do we have a lot to cover in this video. The first thing that needs to be addressed to end the seemingly endless speculation is when is Hytale being released? Well, thanks to their development update blog post, we now know their goal of having Hytale playable by absolutely everyone is set for a release window of 2021. Now, we don't know if this means the beginning, middle, or end of that year, but we do know that it is not happening by the end of this year or even the end of next year. This also potentially means that a beta will be likely set for the end of next year at the very earliest, as we know beta means all game systems will need to be completely fleshed out by that point, and will be subject to very little change as the game is tested for bugs. I, for one, am relieved to finally be given, at the very least, the year it releases, so the seemingly endless speculation and clickbait posts can finally be put to rest for a while. If anyone is giving you a specific date or even month, feel free to call them out on it being dead wrong. Now, I know there has been a ton of anticipation and even disappointment from the community, after months of little to no communication from the team and several missed promises in terms of updates. While to a degree it is totally justifiable to be annoyed over things like that, we also have to understand that this is an evolving project from a brand new development team in a game engine that is being created completely from scratch, meaning whenever issues arise, there is literally no documentation for those problems that need to be solved to progress development. As a result, deadlines can understandably be missed as complications arise and development needs need to be pushed back on the timeline. That being said, they have fully acknowledged that here and promised to do a better job and be more transparent in showing us in-progress content for feedback and development purposes. If that happens for sure this time, the Hytale team deserves every ounce of praise coming to them for it. This statement here probably sums this up the best from the team. We've also been held back by our decision to focus on showing parts of Hytale that we consider to be launch ready. At our current stage of production, many parts of the game are approaching that level, but aren't quite there yet. Other aspects of Hytale are much earlier in development, or are awaiting revamps. We've been holding ourselves back from revealing those aspects of the game for fear of showing too much too soon. However, we completely understand those in the Hytale community who would prefer for us to be a bit more open about where we're at, so that's what we're going to do from now on. This means that we'll be showing more work-in-progress aspects of the game, which may include features that aren't fully polished yet, or may change between now and launch. In fact, we'll be actively seeking feedback on certain features to ensure that we're headed in the right direction. I, for one, could not be more excited and hopeful when hearing this, as this is exactly what the community wants. Now we just have to wait to see if these promises can be fulfilled. As a step in the right direction, we have received a massive drop of information, starting with news of all new biomes fully implemented into their world gen systems for zones 1 and 2. In Zone 1, you may come across an autumn forest, complete with densely wooded areas and leaves that have turned a deep orange and brown. Supposedly here, we will find key resources such as mushrooms, pumpkin crops, and even decorative glowing plants as seen at the bottom right on the forest floor. The lighting engine and tones of this zone absolutely nail that fall vibe so many of us absolutely love from this time of year. Now in Zone 2, hidden throughout the harsh desert wilderness, adventurers may stumble across an oasis biome. We see an absolutely lush environment here that provides players the opportunity to harvest materials not easily found anywhere else, in addition to an ever-crucial water source. It also appears that wood sources will be highly concentrated here, meaning you may be making numerous treks to these in order to keep your stockpiles high. Now we are told to be mindful, however, as we aren't the only creatures drawn to isolated lagoons and reprieve from the scorching heat. Now, looking back at both of these biomes, plants are a very obvious focus here. We know we will be able to grow crops in Hytale, but to what degree exactly? Good news! The team includes a little more information about their farming system. they have spent the last few months refining the design and implementation of key features. We can expect our characters to have to till the earth, utilize a system for planting seeds, and even a crop harvesting system that will have our crops growing in real time over the course of several in-game days. We can see here the need to utilize a hoe for tilling the soil, various stages of a plant's life cycle being visible, and even potentially the need for light to be in close proximity of the plants for effective growth. Also, interestingly enough, we don't see a need for a water source to be directly nearby for growth, but can certainly expect it to be needed at the very least from a watering can, as seen on the cart here. We also have a few really interesting things to pick out here from this image. First of all, we see Outlander type braziers clearly used as a decorative element, meaning we may either be able to craft these or take them from settlements to use in our builds. If we also take a look at the hotbar of our characters here, we can see a placeable wagon, likely the same as the one the watering can is on. We also see seed pouches for the types of plants we'd like to grow, and a bag of fertilizer currently in use, judging by the tiny little poop icon on the image in the hotbar. The team has also stated that the next step is to implement livestock farming and animal domestication, including full animal happiness systems that will influence and react to a variety of factors such as feed, the availability of good bedding, and even having similar animals in their vicinity. This may mean that maintaining the pens of our farm animals will be a crucial factor in keeping sustainable animal farms in Hytale. Pretty exciting and detailed stuff. Now, while we're on the topic of creatures, we get some insight into 4 new creatures that we will encounter in Hytale. We get this terrifying undead creature with vertical, gnashing jaws that'll be sure to scare the living hell out of us as players in dark environments get spooked by them. We also get to see what looks to be a hostile human NPC from a faction that isn't the Outlanders, winding its way through a pungent, rundown sewer system possibly. Look at that hefty axe he's wielding. Now the creature, or should I say the 2 creatures I am most excited to see in-game are the ones from the jungle we can expect to find in the prehistoric caves beneath Zone 4. Right in front, we get to lay eyes on what looks to be a baby Triceratops, with a hungry raptor lurking in the background. We also get a look at this awesome reddish glow amongst the greens and blues down here, giving a real otherworldly and unique feeling. Even the plants look so amazingly unique compared to what we are used to seeing above ground, leading me to get even more excited about exploring this isolated world beneath the ground. There is even a little subtext below the image on the blog post that says, "Why is my glass of water shaking?" A direct reference to there being a large beast nearby, which we can expect to be the cave rex teased to us in this concept art image a long time ago. Now I'm excited for when we finally get more info on that creature. Now, these blog posts contain more than just a few new creatures and biomes. The real bulk of important, game-changing information comes in the form of a graphical update post. Because their game engine is built from scratch over the last 4 years, the team constantly is able to improve the engine and push new features into the game rather seamlessly. A host of new features and improvements that have been implemented into Hytale include things like real-time shadows, improved water effects and caustics, improvements to bloom, rendering, and even particle effects to not only make the game run smoother, but also keep a massive majority of the baseline system's requirements unchanged. This means almost every feature in the game will be playable and functional even on low-end systems with integrated GPUs. This amounts to a game that is optimized, visually stunning, and also playable by nearly every range of PC, with options for higher-end PCs to really crank up these features. That is something to be incredibly excited about, as this means the player base for Hytale will not be limited by the sheer cost of your PC. Extremely exciting and promising news. We are going to showcase a brand new clip of co-op gameplay now, go over all these individual features, and then take a second look at this gameplay clip while we unpack all of the tiny details to give us insight into a bunch of future systems in Hytale. The first, and arguably the most important feature added to Hytale's engine was real-time shadows. This has the biggest impact to the look and feel of the world, more so than anything else. Real-time cascading shadow mapping will allow all characters, items, and each element in the environment to cast detailed shadows that dynamically react to the sun and moon positions. The shadows cast will reflect the exact shape of the creature or character in question, including all weapons, gear, and even animations performed. This means in both PvE and PvP environments, a creature or player around the corner of something like a dimly lit hallway that has its shadow casting around the corner can be seen and analyzed about what it is going to do before you even see it. This has huge implications for combat, level designers that want to draw your focus to certain locations, and even the atmosphere of the location you are exploring. Even things like bookshelves and their level of texture transparency allows for shadows to interact with them on a completely new level for this style of game. This is an absolutely monumental addition to Hytale and bumps the immersion factor up for me to a whole new level. In regards to lighting, there are still more improvements to the game in forms more than just shadows. Underwater caustics, or the way light interacts in a reflected or refracted manner from a curved surface, will dynamically change immersion level within the water in Hytale. Not only are we treated with visual improvements beneath the surface, but above the surface as well. Reflections of the coasts and riverbanks can now be seen on the water's surface, along with waves and edge whitening to give a more dynamic, realistic feeling of how water actually behaves. The team has stated all of this will only improve between now and launch, with more details to be revealed in the future. If we thought the ocean scenes looked beautiful before, we're going to have to turn that dial up to 11 now. Truly awesome stuff to see. We've also seen previously that bloom and sunshaft effects will be in Hytale's visual library, but there have now been technical improvements to this feature in-game, as they showcase how dynamic a ray of light can be in highlighting a creature of interest, or even how a hole in a cave can allow sunlight to break through and illuminate the whole area, allowing for contrasting light sources to interact and bring new visuals to the player. The important thing to note, however, is that sunshafts like these are one of the few things not currently compatible with integrated graphics cards, and will be one of the features more powerful hardware setups can truly take advantage of. In addition to all these things, particle effects have been improved and streamlined, a huge number of textures have been revamped, and the screen space ambient occlusion has been improved, meaning the overall range of light falloff and how dynamic and realistic shadows look are now even better. Crazy, crazy stuff. Just look at how shadows dramatically change the feel of this wooded area. Or how the complex shadows from the sun interacting with the window details creates a complex shadow environment. These are the sorts of details that I have come to expect from the Hytale team, and the immersion level only seems to increase somehow with each update. Now I promised we'd go back and take a look at that awesome co-op gameplay segment and really analyze what we're seeing here. First of all, can we just say how amazingly detailed the armor and weapons look when seen on a moving character, as we see the light interacting and altering the hues of them. As we enter the room, the UI notifies us of our current location and objective almost immediately. We are in the Emerald Grove ruins, and we have to kill 12 skeletons. It appears that this objective, however, isn't necessary in order to unlock the chest at the back of the room, which makes me think that there may be ways to approach encounters from a more stealthy method in the future. We get a taste of two-handed first-person hammer combat with some light horizontal attacks followed up by a heavy overhand attack that just instantly obliterates a skeleton. As they are killed, we can see that items are dropped from their bodies, typical of RPG games that get looted as we move over them. A couple pile of bone blocks are picked up before we engage with a skeletal mage. Upon killing it, it actually drops a purple spellbook that our character can pick up and wield as a weapon. Our first real look at magic outside of the magic cast from stabs that we saw in the original game trailer. It looks to me like we have to hold our own attack button down to channel an attack before releasing the projectile. It also appears that the book currently doesn't have any sort of ammo or durability system implemented, either at all or just not yet, since the combat hasn't been fully revealed yet, and this is all subject to change. It also appears that health will regen as long as you haven't received damage for a certain amount of time, even if you're in combat. An interesting choice that I don't know if I agree with, but once again, this is all a work in progress and subject to feedback. Finally, at the end of the encounter, our heroes open the chest and our character dynamically switches to third person. Ninja Charlie is rewarded with a fire sword. The ambient and even trail particles look simply amazing on this, which makes me even more excited for the plethora of weapons we have yet to even see in Hytale. Guys, this makes me so excited seeing little snippets of gameplay like this. What do you guys all think? I definitely think little snippets like this are amazing for showing off progress in the game in a more grounded, real-feeling gameplay sense. Hopefully we get more of these over time in this style. The very last thing that I want to talk about are the 4 brand new music tracks from Oscar. If you want to really do them justice, go listen to each one individually. I will have a link to the blog post below so you can read Oscar's inspiration for each piece, as well as direct links to each music track to go get yourselves immersed in. Seriously, go listen to these. They are absolutely amazing pieces. And that is it, everyone. I am just blown away by what was revealed with these blog posts. So many things to really analyze, and what better way to do that than to join Kodiak, Fezzy, 30virus, Night of Doom, and myself over on the Game Guru's channel this Friday at 9 p.m. EST. We are going to cover literally every aspect of these blog posts in detail and bring you the analysis you all love. Make sure to drop by because we love having input from the chat as we go over all of this. Now, the last reminder I have for you all is that I'm still running a giveaway for copies of Hytale once the game is available for purchase if it goes that route. If not, and it takes the free-to-play route, I will have alternate prizes for the giveaway in place of those. The contest will run up until that time. The more views the contest video gets, the more copies will be given away. You can find that link to the video below and on the outro page at the end. Now I want to thank everyone for stopping by for your comprehensive Hytale update and all the latest news from the developers. I believe in bringing you all the most comprehensive breakdown in one single video to supercharge that Hytale hype. I hope you all found something that piqued your interest, so feel free to leave a comment below about it. And remember, I hope you all have a wonderful day and a fantastic holiday. If you liked what you saw here, remember to like and subscribe to this channel. Thank you very much.